From the earliest days of human existence, people have needed ways to live together peacefully and solve problems. Imagine living in a time when no rules existed, where strength and power were the only laws. Such a life would be full of chaos, danger, and conflict. To avoid this, humans created governments, structures that establish rules, protect rights, and maintain order. But how did we go from having no government to the many forms we see today? This is the story of how we arrived at modern governments. The beginning. Why do we need government? Life without government was what philosophers like Thomas Hobbes called a state of nature. Hobbes believed that, in this state, humans were selfish and constantly at war with one another. To escape this chaos, people entered into a social contract, agreeing to follow rules in exchange for safety and order. Hobbes argued that a strong leader was necessary to enforce these rules and keep peace. On the other hand, John Locke had a more optimistic view. He believed that all humans are born with natural rights, the rights to life, liberty, and property. Locke's idea of a social contract was different. He thought governments should protect these natural rights, and if they failed to do so, people had the right to change their leaders. These contrasting views laid the foundation for debates about the purpose and form of government. Early governments, monarchies, and empires. In ancient times, monarchies were the most common form of government. A monarchy is a system where a king or queen rules, often claiming their power came from the gods. This system worked well in small, early societies because it provided clear leadership. Rulers like the pharaohs of Egypt or the emperors of China wielded enormous power, making decisions about laws, wars, and resources. However, as societies grew larger, this concentration of power often led to abuse. Absolute monarchs, leaders with unchecked power, sometimes prioritized their wealth and control over the well-being of their people. Over time, this sparked questions about fairness and the rights of ordinary citizens. The rise of democracy, power to the people. The idea of democracy, giving people a voice in government, first took root in ancient Greece. In Athens, citizens participated directly in decision-making. Although this system was limited to a small group, excluding women, slaves, and non-citizens, it introduced the idea that government should reflect the will of the people. The Roman Republic built on this idea, creating a system where elected representatives made decisions. However, as the Roman Empire expanded, it became harder to maintain this model, and power eventually shifted back to emperors. Centuries later, thinkers like Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau revisited democratic principles, arguing that governments should serve the people and protect their freedoms. These ideas influenced revolutions in America and France, where citizens fought to replace monarchies with governments based on democratic ideals. Challenges to democracy, dictatorships, and theocracies. While democracy spread, other forms of government persisted. In a dictatorship, one person or group holds all the power. Dictators often rise to power during times of crisis, promising stability and security. However, without checks and balances, dictatorships can lead to oppression and the loss of individual freedoms. Examples include North Korea, where the government controls nearly every aspect of life, and historical regimes like Nazi Germany. Theocracy is another form of government where religious leaders rule based on divine authority. For example, in Iran, laws are based on Islamic principles, and religious leaders hold significant power. Theocracies often blend politics with spiritual beliefs, which can unite people under a shared faith, but may also limit freedoms for those with different beliefs. Modern government, a blend of ideas. Today, most governments combine elements from different systems. For example, the United States is a democracy, but it also has features of a republic, where representatives make decisions on behalf of the people. The United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy, where a king or queen serves as a symbolic leader, while elected officials govern the country. China follows a communist model with the government controlling resources to promote equality, but it also allows some market-driven practices. These systems reflect centuries of experimentation and adaptation. By blending ideas, modern governments aim to balance order, freedom, and fairness. Why government matters. Governments affect nearly every part of our lives. They build roads, run schools, protect neighborhoods, and ensure our basic rights. Without government, we would face chaos and conflict. But governments are not perfect. To keep them working for the people, citizens must stay informed and engaged. The evolution of government shows how human societies have grown and learned over time. From monarchies to democracies, from the ideas of Hobbes and Locke to the systems we live under today, the goal has always been the same: to create a society where people can live safely, freely, and fairly.